friends, my name is Liddy and today I'm going to be doing my very first monthly wrap-up. So I'm really excited to start trying to do this format of talking about books, and yeah, I'm very excited about January because I have already read 7 books in 2018. That might not sound like a ton for a booktuber, but that is probably the most books I've ever read in a month in my entire life. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm just going to jump in because I don't want this video to be super long. So the first book I read this year was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. So if you don't know, this book is about a girl named Aza who has OCD and generalized anxiety disorder, and she just is kind of, grappling with her mental health, and she also is with her best friend trying to figure out the mystery of a fugitive billionaire. There is not many ways I can really describe this book, but this book was such an important read for me. As you can see, it's very tabbed. I buddy read this, first time I ever buddy read a book, but I buddy read this book with my friend Stephanie, who also used to be my roommate. So that was a really powerful experience. As someone who has generalized anxiety disorder, this book was just so important to me. The way that it represented anxiety was beautiful and heart-wrenching. Like, it was hard to read at points, but it wouldn't be a good representation of anxiety if it wasn't difficult to read. So I really appreciated that. I picked up this book entirely because I knew it was about a main character with OCD and anxiety, written by an author with OCD and anxiety. And I didn't have super high expectations for it, but it blew me away. It is one of my favorite books of all time now, so as you can guess, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. So the second book I read this month was my reread of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm not going to talk about this a ton because I have my rereading video up. I will link that down below, along with the other reread videos that will be just mentioned in this video right here. So Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is probably my favorite in the Harry Potter series. I did give this a 5 out of 5 stars. This is my second time reading it. I'm currently rereading all of the books, and I just really enjoyed it, and it's a lot of fun. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to stop there. The next book I read, I actually read in one day, which I have not done since high school, so it was a lot of fun to read it, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This book is about a girl named Elle who is very much into this sci-fi TV show Starfield, and it ended a while ago, but it's getting rebooted as a movie, and the main actor is about to, or the cast is about to be announced. So it's her kind of fangirling over that, and then also dealing with her hard family situation because it is a Cinderella's retelling, so of course she has the stepmother and stepsisters that she has to deal with. And also just deals with her and a cosplay contest and her trying to get to a convention, and I've never been to a convention, so it was a lot of fun to read about one. And also just a cute romance that was done through texting, which is not something I like in real life, but in books and movies is a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I really enjoy reading about it. So I give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It was very fluffy, but also had some deep stuff in it. There's definitely some aspects of this book that bothered me. I did not like that it just casually mentioned sin, and I can talk to you more about that individually if you would want to, but I did overall really enjoy this book. It was a lot of fun. Apparently I just kind of needed something fluffy that day, because I couldn't put it down, and I really enjoyed it, and the romance in it was really cute, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So the next book I read was my reread of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This book previously had a 2 stars, and I moved it up to 4. I enjoyed it a lot more the second time reading it. And yeah, I will also link my reread video for this one down in the description so I don't blab all day about it. So yeah. The next book I read is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This book is about Eliza. She writes her own webcomic that is very popular, but it is published anonymously, and the #1 fanfiction author starts going to her school. She finds out who he is, and when she is revealed to her school and the world, it causes some tension, and it's just really intriguing. The story, kind of like Gorilla, it kind of bothered me that it just casually mentioned sin. Along with that, the way she treats her parents in this book drives me crazy. But other than, and there's also one scene that the main male character just really ticked me off, like really ticked me off, and like almost made me not like him anymore because it was such a horrible thing. But this book is also a book that focuses on a character with generalized anxiety disorder. This one specifically had a very good light on counseling as a positive thing, which I really appreciated. I think that's really important. And overall, I thought this book was also very cute. It was also quite deep, and I really enjoyed it. So I gave this book a 4.75 out of 5 stars. And if you want to hear me talk about anxiety in books, I based it based on reading Turtles All the Way Down. And this one, I did make a video about it. It is a fairly long video, but you can't really talk about that topic concisely. It is a really important topic. It is a very important topic to me personally. So I did talk about that. I talked about both of these books a little bit, but not in detail. But yeah, I really did enjoy this book, and I'm really glad that I was able to read 2 books with main characters with anxiety this month, because I just think that good representation of mental illness in fiction is really important. So the next book, book number 6 that I read, was Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. If you don't know, this is a collection of short stories from the Lunar Chronicles universe. If you didn't know, the Lunar Chronicles is my absolute favorite book series. I adore these books. I just read them last year, but I just connected with them so much. They are sci-fi fairy tale retellings, but if you have not read those, you can't read this yet because it spoils a lot of things. But I really enjoy this as a collection. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. There's 9 stories in here, and I should have had my phone out to like tell you how I rated each one. I'm not going to give you a synopsis of each one because that's going to take forever, but I'll give you my rating of each one. So The Keeper, I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The Glitches, I gave, I think, 5 out of 5 stars. The Queen's Army was 5 out of 5 stars. Carswell's Guide to Being Lucky was 4 out of 5 stars. After Sunshine Passes By was, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. The Princess and the Guard was 4.5 out of 5 stars, I believe. The Little Android was 4 out of 5 stars. The Mechanic was 4.75 out of 5 stars, I believe. And Something Old, Something New was 5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to leave my Goodreads reviews for all of these books down below, but you can get short reviews on each one of these stories, and also my actual ratings, because I think I might have said a few of those wrong, in the Goodreads review, which will be linked down in the description below. But overall, I just thought that this book was such a cute way to expand the Lunar Chronicles universe, and it just made me feel so many things. I definitely appreciate Wolf more. He was already one of my favorites, but I appreciate him even more. Something Old, Something New was definitely my favorite. I just got so giddy while reading Something Old, Something New. And, yeah, I just really, really enjoyed reading this book. I never had read a collection of short stories before, so, like, being introduced to it through this world that I already know that I love was so much fun. And, as I said, I just felt a whole lot of things. I cried multiple times while reading this. It probably didn't help that I was listening to the Greatest Showman soundtrack while reading this. Most of the time I was reading it, which also is something that makes me quite emotional, so it was just a very emotional experience, but it was also very fun, and I'm looking forward to rereading a lot of these because they were very sweet and added to the series well. And the last book I read was my reread of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is another one of my favorites in the series. You will probably notice I'm filming this the same day I filmed my discussion of this book, so there are a couple more days left in January right now, but I know I'm not going to finish the entire book in the next 2 days. It's currently January 29th, but I'm not going to finish the Half-Blood Prince in 2 days because I work the next 2 days, so there's no way I'm going to finish it. But this book was just so much fun to reread, and yet again, I'm not going to talk about it for a long time because I just filmed my very long video on it. But if you want to hear my more exact thoughts, those will be down in the description below with my Goodreads review, and also my discussion video of this will also be in the description below. But I also gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. So all the books I read this month, and there was a lot of 5 out of 5 stars in this bunch. I just, on my Goodreads, all of them except the Goblet of Fire actually have 5 out of 5 because I round up my Goodreads reviews, or my Goodreads scores because of math. That's just kind of how I choose to do it. So, yeah, I had a very good reading month, both in number and in enjoyment. Hey, Future Liddy here. I just realized today at work that I never told you what my favorite book of the month was, so I'm just going to do that real briefly here. So my favorite read this month was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This came as no surprise to me. I loved this book so much the first time, and I loved it even more the second time. So I figure since my favorite book of the month was a reread, I'll also tell you my favorite new book of the month, and that was Turtles All the Way Down. I was not expecting to like this book nearly as much as I did. I was kind of expecting this to be a 4 out of 5 star read. As I said earlier, it is now one of my favorite books of all time, so this was a very pleasant surprise. Even though I was expecting to like it, I just enjoyed it so much more than I really thought I would. So that is all I have. I hope you have a very lovely day, and I will see you soon in another video, and please check out my social media links down in the description below.